Hey everyone, welcome back to ProjectPro YouTube channel, and in today's video I am going to discuss about something really important which will help you to crack your interviews if you are a aspiring data engineer, data scientist, data analyst or any other data related job profile. So during the interviews your projects plays very important role because this will be the thing which will help you to showcase your skill set in the big data domain and what kind of experience you have gained so far. So in the interviews, you can expect that there will be 1 and 2 rounds for sure where interviewers are emphasizing more on your projects, whatever you have done in your past or any hands-on project. So today I will break it down all these steps. Let's say you are supposed to explain your project which you have done in the big data domain, big data industry. So how you can do it in the interviews, what is the effective way? So first I will start from how to even select your projects, and this step is very crucial even to create the best portfolio resume and even to increase your chances to get shortlisted in the interviews. And why it is important? So for the big data domain, we know it's common across the industries, across the domains. So entertainment, telecom, fintech, banking, finance and many other sectors where the big data is important and data analytics is supposed to be done. So first thing you need to remember is that, let's say in your past experience you have worked in multiple domains as a data engineer, data scientist or data analyst, and you are targeting some XYZ company which is working in the e-commerce domain, for example. And in your past experience you have worked on the telecom domain and the e-commerce and the healthcare and the banking sector. So these type of industrial projects you have solved so far, and now you are targeting the company which is working on the e-commerce data. So your preference should be in your resume and your portfolio, you should mention maximum projects and the best projects which you have worked for the e-commerce domain, because the XYZ company is also looking for that candidate who has worked in the e-commerce domain data. So that would be a perfect match for them, and in that case your profile will get the priority, and this is how your chances of getting shortlisted for the interviews will be increased. Second point is the project description. So in the interviews, how interviewers gonna ask the questions around the big data projects, they will simply ask you that can you explain the best project you have worked so far in your experience, and you need to explain that project end to end completely. So what should be the right approach so that the interviewer can get the complete idea about the project and its life cycle? So this is how sequentially you should explain your project. First, start with the project objective or the description. Like, let the interviewer understand what kind of problem statement you were trying to solve and try to make it easy to understand. Like, do not overcomplicate the problem statement, but let the interviewer know what was the actual problem statement, which data domain it was related to, and especially what kind of end goal, end objective you are trying to solve. So that is the project objective part. Second, most important, try to explain what all data sources you had in your project, what kind of file format you were using and what type of data you were consuming. Discuss about its processing style, like batch, near real time or real time, and ultimately what kind of data it was containing, how frequently it was getting updated and how frequently it was getting added. So all those things related to the data sources you should explain. Another point will be data collection, like how you were collecting this data from the sources. Were you using any ETL tool? You wrote some ingestion logic which were consuming data from data sources, and wherever you were dumping that data, because it could be data lake, lake house, all these concepts will come into the picture. So you need to explain that data collection part. Next would be the data processing. So again here you need to drill down on the style of data processing, whether it was batch, near real time, if yes then how frequently you were processing it, what kind of volume of the data you were processing in one single shot, or even in your real-time streaming pipeline, how much data you are getting per minute, per second, so that the interviewer can get the idea about the scalability of that project and the kind of volume of the data you are trying to process. Next point will be analysis technique. Like in that project, what kind of business rules you have implemented, what kind of analysis you are trying to do. If there is any complexity or any interesting point, the interviewer should know about the analysis you have been doing in that project. Make sure it is communicated properly to the interviewer. Last point under this section will be result and impact. So whatever project you were actually working on, at the end, what kind of result we were getting and where we were dumping that data in the downstream, who were our stakeholders who were consuming that transformed data, and after producing that transformed data, how it was impacting the organization, what kind of data driven business decisions the downstream stakeholders were taking with the help of this transformed data, and what was the segment in this entire project where you contributed and how your contribution made the difference in this entire project and the end result. So this is the overall summary you need to give to the interviewer about the big data project. So this was about the project description. Next will be how you can showcase all those tools and technologies you worked so far and basically you used in those particular projects. So previously whatever we discussed, that was related to the description and overview of the project. We did not discuss anything about the architecture diagram, high level architecture, low level architecture diagram, and the specific tool and tech stack which we are using. So in this segment you basically need to touch upon on those part. Try to explain all the boxes to the interviewer, starting from the source part, the transformation part, and the load part, and at every step what kind of tools and technologies you were using, what kind of programming language you had, what kind of processing engine like the Spark and the Apache Flink, and whatever it is you were using, what kind of data source you had, either it was a file system or any transactional database or basically a particular stream of data with the help of Kafka or Kinesis. And after doing all these transformation where we were dumping this transformed data, it was data warehouse or any NoSQL database or any other file system, so that it can be used by the downstream stakeholders. So this is how you need to explain, and make sure try to include all the important tech stack which you definitely used in those projects, because this is how interviewer will get the idea that what kind of skill set you particularly know, and then the discussion can move into that direction. He might pick few specific tech stack and may deep dive into it and asking fundamental questions related to that one, optimization related questions to that one. And when you are explaining the technical architecture, tools and technologies used in that project, so be prepared for one thing, and that is going to happen for sure. Interviewer will have the cross questions for you, and those cross questions would be like, if you have used any specific tool and tech stack, then what was the prime reason behind it? Because in the big data domain, we have multiple alternatives for each and every tool and technology, right? For an example, we have the Apache Spark, we have Apache Flink as well. Flink is also capable of doing the batch processing, real-time processing, and Spark as well. So whatever you have used, so what was the prime reason behind it? And it is applicable for everything, like the data source, and if you have picked particular data warehousing service, then what was the need of it, why you picked it, what was the advantage and disadvantage. And the interviewer can provide his input, like if you given some alternative to these tech stack, then how would you design the architecture of this particular project? So always be ready to face these kind of questions, and also be prepared to answer such type of questions. Another important point, explain the challenges. And this is the very important step, and you can say the important section as well. Why? Because like doing a project, one thing, but what sort of learnings you took from that project. And learnings will always come when you are implementing the things and you are also facing the real world challenges, and that could be anything related to data issues, and when you are designing your application, how you are scaling it, what kind of challenges did you face there, error replay and reprocessing part, the fault tolerance maintenance, like when you are deploying your project, what sort of challenges you had there, and anything related to data governance, alerting and monitoring. So basically what you need to explain in this section, that when you are building that project, what were the main challenges you faced. So while explaining the challenges, you also need to include that how did you overcome those challenges and what kind of contribution you actually made in order to solve those challenges. So this is how you can explain it. First, discuss about the difficulties and challenges, and then their solution and how you made your contribution. And let's say there was very specific and some you can say interesting challenge or difficulty to discuss, so feel free to do that, and also give the technical idea about it as well. How did you approach to that particular problem to solve that particular challenge, and did you use any specific tool and tech stack in order to achieve that? So that would put a really good impression. And the next thing is about communication and collaboration, and this is super important because when you are getting hired in any of the company and you are working in any of the company, ultimately you are going to work with a team. Sometimes you may get the opportunity to own a complete project end to end, but still there will be a collaboration. The collaboration will be our upstream teams, like the team who are providing the data sources, and our downstream team means our stakeholders who are consuming that data. So whenever you are working on a particular project, the effective communication is very much important to deliver the things on time. And this is what the interviewer is looking from your side, that as a developer you need to mention all those things as well, how effectively you communicated and collaborated with all the teams who were involved in your project directly and indirectly, and how did you complete it and deliver it on time. Because if there was not any effective communication and collaboration among the team members and among the upstream and downstream stakeholders, obviously project timelines will also get impacted, and we won't be able to build any scalable product as well, because there will be information gaps all the time, and there will be a need of rework and ad hoc development, putting the patch codes in the production, and these kind of unwanted things will keep on coming in the project, which we definitely want to avoid. So talk about this one as well, how you took those initiatives and how you collaboratively working with different teams and team members, and how you were doing that communication, what was the proper channel of it, how you are developing the project, what kind of development methodology and life cycle you are using. So try to talk about all these things as well. So yes, these were the important points which I wanted to discuss with respect to how to explain the big data projects in the interviews. I'm pretty sure this would have helped you for sure to get the idea how you need to proceed in the interviews and how you need to talk about your project so that you can give the best impression. But here quickly I will also demonstrate the same thing, that how ProjectPro is not just helping the aspiring data professional to work on the real world projects, but the way they have curated the projects on their portal, it actually follows all these points which we have mentioned. So let me walk you through with one of the projects so that you can get the idea how it needs to be mentioned and how it needs to be described to the interviewer. So as you can see on the screen, this is a big data project like building pipeline using PySpark, Kafka and Redshift. So if you open all these sections, right, you will get the idea whatever we were talking about, that is actually true, and this is how our project should also look like. So starting from the project details, it should be breakdown on the granular level, like what kind of thing we are actually trying to solve. And then this is the main part, the project description, what kind of data sources and what kind of data it actually includes, what kind of transformation we will be having. Then talking about the tech stack as well, languages, libraries and important services. And if these type of services is somehow unknown to anyone, right, this type of description we also need to give to any external audience or even the interviewers. So this is how you can see how ProjectPro is actually making difference in the industry by helping the aspiring data professionals with the help of these amazing end-to-end solved projects, which is definitely a game changer. And anyone who is completely new into these job profiles and have no idea how to work on the projects and what kind of real world projects they need to build, then this is the go-to platform for you all. So make sure to check it out, these projects, because it will be a really good value addition in your resume and in your portfolio. So that is what I had for this amazing video. I hope you would have enjoyed it. If yes, then feel free to give a like and share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section. I will see you guys really soon with another amazing video. Till then, bye bye.